I don't like just throwing that word around, but this comment could be in the dictionary as an example of ableist. Hey everybody, I'm Amber, a disabled gal, here to reveal or remind you that you're complete in Jesus Christ alone. If you want to assist or accommodate a disabled person, it's always a good idea to ask first. You can never go wrong with asking first. You never know, perhaps they don't need assistance, or maybe they don't want assistance. In this video, I want to discuss a deeper issue about making assumptions, and that would be assuming incompetence. When people assume incompetence of a disabled person, that actually puts more limits on us than what we already naturally have. Here's a few examples. An employer might assume you can't do the job with or without reasonable accommodation. A prospective love interest might assume that you won't be a valuable partner. A parent might assume that their disabled child will never move out, and thus they won't prepare them to move out. Those are just a few of the many examples of how assuming incompetence could have potentially devastating effects to the life of a disabled person. I recently saw a comment on a video. It wasn't my video. The post was about a woman with Down syndrome, and the point of it wasn't that we expect that a disabled person can do everything, but rather we should be given a chance to do it without people assuming that we can't. Now, I want to read you this comment that was on this post, and I want to warn you, it is quite ableist. I don't like just throwing that word around, but this comment could be in the dictionary as an example of ableist. So here's the comment. Someone told you to think and say all that. That's not an assumption. This script was not yours. That's not an assumption. You have a learning disability, and we should treat you accordingly to ensure we assist you and not measure you to a standard that will consistently fail you and leave you behind. All those so-called assumptions help keep your life balanced, because if we begin to measure you to a different standard, you would be considered slow. Now, right off the bat, I just want to say that using the term slow to describe an intellectual disability is never a good word to use. It's very closely related to the R word. Now, a part of this comment I do agree with is that we should take limitations of an individual and treat them accordingly, yes. However, taking limitations into consideration does not mean assuming incompetence. The problem lies with the assuming part, and that is why I say this comment is very ableist. Also, I think it's a little ironic that in the beginning, this commenter says, that's not an assumption, when making an assumption. Unless he actually tracked down who exactly wrote this video, all we can do is assume who wrote it. And we see this assumed incompetence across the board, whether we're talking about a physical or an intellectual disability. I believe that disabled people should be given the dignity to succeed or fail just like anybody else.
In the future, please allow the students to succeed or fail on their own.
And how are we personally going to even know our own limits if we're never given the opportunity to fail? We can't know where our limits are when other people keep assigning them to us. When incompetence is assumed, it actually places more limits on us that are actually there. At least give us the opportunity to succeed or fail, and you never know, you might be surprised what we can do. Many times, if you tell us we can't do something, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, even if we had the potential to do it. So that's why I believe that low expectations of disabled people are so harmful. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that video was edifying to you. If you enjoyed it, please check out my other content that will appear shortly on your screen here. And a huge thank you to my supporters. You guys really do bless this ministry tremendously, and God bless you all.
The video you just saw was made by fallible Christians.
Although we diligently seek to represent the God of the Bible accurately, please understand that we are still being sanctified.
For absolute truth, please refer to the Bible.